Imagine walking past cars so rare that billionaires will never own them. Not replicas, not tribute builds. The real deal. The Petersen Automotive Museum in Los Angeles is that place. And today, we're counting down the 10 rarest machines to ever grace its floor. These aren't your typical museum pieces. These are legends, one-of-a-kind masterpieces, and machines so exclusive you're more likely to win the lottery than see some of these on the road. Buckle up, because number 1 will blow your mind. If you love rare metal and legendary builds, hit that like button and subscribe, so you never miss another deep dive into the world's most incredible machines. Number 10. 1952 Ferrari 212 225 Barchetta. We're kicking things off with a car most people have never heard of. But trust me, this thing is pure Italian racing royalty. The 1952 Ferrari 212 225 Barchetta. Only 8 of these were ever built. 8. You could fit all the owners in a single minivan. This wasn't some mass-produced sports car. This was a purpose-built racing machine, designed to dominate European tracks in the early 1950s. But here's what makes this one special. This particular example was reportedly associated with Enzo Ferrari himself. We're talking about the godfather of Italian sports cars, the man who built an empire on speed and passion. Under that gorgeous Vignale body sits a Colombo V12 engine. If you know anything about early Ferraris, you know Gioacchino Colombo designed some of the most beautiful engines Ferrari ever produced. This V12 was built for endurance racing, and it had the kind of sound that would make grown men weep. The 212-225 Barchetta competed in the Mille Miglia, the Targa Florio, and other legendary European road races, where drivers were basically insane and the cars were barely street legal. These machines were driven hard, crashed often, and many didn't survive. Finding one today, especially with this kind of provenance, is like finding a needle in a haystack made of gold. The bodywork is pure art. Hand-formed aluminum panels shaped over a tubular steel frame. No computer design, no wind tunnel testing. Just Italian craftsmen with hammers and dollies, shaping metal until it looked fast, standing still. Number 9. 1957 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing. Now we're talking. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you probably had a poster of this car on your bedroom wall. This is one of those cars that transcends the automotive world and becomes a cultural icon. Mercedes built fewer than 1,400 of these coupes between 1954 and 1957. These cars were expensive when new, and they've only gotten more valuable. Today, a clean 300 SL Gullwing will set you back well over $1 million. Some of the best examples have sold for north of $3 million. Let's talk about those doors. The Gullwing design wasn't just for show. The 300 SL was built on a tubular space frame chassis, and the frame's design made conventional doors impossible. Mercedes engineers hinged the doors at the roof. When you open them, they swing up like wings. It's one of the most recognizable design features in automotive history. But the 300 SL wasn't just a pretty face. This was the fastest production car in the world when it debuted. Under that long hood sat a 3.0-liter inline-six with direct fuel injection. In 1954, this was cutting-edge technology. The 300 SL was the first production car to use direct fuel injection, technology that wouldn't become common until decades later. That fuel-injected six produced 215 horsepower, massive for the time. It could hit 160 miles per hour, faster than pretty much anything else you could buy and drive on the street. The racing heritage is legendary. Before the production car, Mercedes built a racing version that dominated endurance racing. It won Le Mans, the Carrera Panamericana, and pretty much every major race it entered. Number 8. Porsche 917K. If you've ever seen the movie Le Mans with Steve McQueen, you know this car. The Porsche 917K in Gulf livery is one of the most iconic racing machines ever built. This is the car that delivered Porsche's first overall victory at Le Mans in 1970, ending decades of trying. The 917 was an absolute monster. It had a flat 12 engine mounted behind the driver, producing over 600 horsepower in race trim. Some versions pushed closer to 1,000 horsepower. This thing was a rocket ship, capable of hitting speeds over 240 miles per hour on the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans. But the 917 wasn't easy to drive. Early versions were notoriously unstable at high speed. Drivers complained that the rear end would get light and the car would try to kill them. Porsche went back to the drawing board, redesigned the bodywork, and created the 917K, the K standing for Kurzheck, or short tail in German. The revised aerodynamics made the car much more stable, and suddenly the 917 became the dominant force in endurance racing. It won Le Mans in 1970 and 1971, and it won pretty much every other major endurance race during that period. The Gulf liveried cars, driven by legends like Pedro Rodriguez and Joe Siffert, became icons of motorsport. Number 7. McLaren F1. The McLaren F1. Where do you even start with this car? When it debuted in 1992, it was the fastest production car in the world. It held that title for over a decade. Only 106 total were produced, and just 64 were standard road cars. The rest were racing versions, or prototypes. Gordon Murray designed the F1 with one goal: create the ultimate driver's car. No compromises. The driver sits in the center of the car with two passenger seats flanking them slightly back. It's like sitting in a fighter jet. The entire car was built around the driving experience. Under the engine cover sits a BMW-sourced 6.1-liter V12 producing 627 horsepower. No turbochargers, no superchargers, just pure naturally aspirated power. The engine bay was lined with gold foil because gold is the best heat reflector. The F1 could hit 240 miles per hour, and it did it with analog precision. No traction control, no ABS, no driver aids. Just you, the car, and the road. The F1 wasn't just fast in a straight line. It won Le Mans in 1995 on its first attempt, beating purpose-built race cars. A road car with some modifications walked into Le Mans and won. That's legendary. Today, McLaren F1s are worth tens of millions of dollars. They rarely come up for sale, and when they do, collectors fight over them. Number 6. Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. Only 6 original Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupes were ever built. 6. Carroll Shelby created these cars for one reason: to beat Ferrari at Le Mans and win the World Manufacturers' Championship. And you know what? It worked. The Daytona Coupe was based on the Cobra Roadster, but with a sleek aerodynamic body designed by Pete Brock. The goal was to hit higher top speeds on the long straights at Le Mans and other endurance tracks. The Roadster was fast, but it had the aerodynamics of a brick. The Daytona Coupe was slippery, capable of hitting over 190 miles per hour. Under that long hood sat a Ford 289 cubic inch V8, later upgraded to a 427. These engines produced massive horsepower and torque, and they were reliable enough to run for 24 hours straight. The Daytona Coupes competed in the 1964 and 1965 seasons, and in 1965, Shelby American won the FYA World Manufacturers' Championship, becoming the first American team to do so. This was a huge deal. Shelby and Ford took on Ferrari, the kings of endurance racing, and beat them at their own game. The Daytona Coupe is one of the most successful American race cars ever built, and it's one of the most valuable. Original Daytona Coupes have sold for over $7 million at auction. Number 5. 1956 Ferrari 250 GT Tour de France. The Ferrari 250 GT Tour de France is one of the most beautiful and successful racing Ferraris ever built. Only 9 Series 1 Berlinetta examples were made, making this one of the rarest 250 GTs in existence. The Tour de France name comes from the 10-day Tour de France automobile rally, which the 250 GT dominated in the late 1950s. This wasn't a bicycle race. This was a grueling road race across France, where cars were pushed to their absolute limits. Under the hood sits a 3.0-liter Colombo V12, producing around 240 horsepower. The body was designed by Scaglietti, and it's pure Italian elegance. Long hood, short deck, flowing fenders, and curves in all the right places. This car looks like it's doing 100 miles per hour standing still. The 250 GT Tour de France was a dual-purpose car. You could drive it on the street, take it to the track on the weekend, and win races. That versatility made it incredibly popular with wealthy enthusiasts who wanted one car that could do everything. Today, these cars are worth millions. The combination of rarity, racing success, and drop-dead gorgeous looks makes the 250 GT Tour de France one of the most desirable Ferraris ever built. Number 4. Tucker 48. Only 51 Tucker 48s were ever produced, including the prototype. That makes this one of the rarest American cars ever built. Preston Tucker wanted to revolutionize the auto industry with safety features and innovations that were decades ahead of their time. The Tucker 48 had a rear-mounted flat-six engine, disc brakes, fuel injection, and a third headlight that turned with the steering wheel. It had a padded dashboard, a windshield designed to pop out in a crash, and a safety cage around the passengers. This was 1948, and Tucker was thinking about things that wouldn't become standard until the 1970s and 80s. But the business world wasn't ready for Preston Tucker. The company folded in 1949 amid financial troubles and allegations of fraud, though Tucker was later acquitted. Only 51 cars made it out the door before everything collapsed. Today, Tucker 48s are incredibly valuable. They represent what could have been, a vision of American automotive innovation that was crushed before it could flourish. Number 3. Ferrari 250 GTO. Only 36 Ferrari 250 GTOs were built between 1962 and 1964. This is the holy grail of collector cars. These cars regularly sell for over $50 million, and some have gone for even more. The 250 GTO is the most valuable car in the world. The Petersen's example finished second overall at the 1963 24 Hours of Le Mans. Think about that. This car competed against the best racing machines in the world, and nearly won. It's got a 3.0-liter V12 producing around 300 horsepower, a 5-speed manual transmission, and bodywork designed by Giotto Bizzarini and refined in the wind tunnel. The 250 GTO dominated GT racing in the early 1960s. It won the FIA World Championship 3 years in a row. Drivers loved it because it was fast, reliable, and beautiful. Collectors love it because it's the ultimate Ferrari, combining racing success, rarity, and Italian design in one perfect package. Seeing a 250 GTO in person is a bucket list experience. Most are locked away in private collections, never to be seen by the public. Number 2. 1948 Davis Divan. Now for something completely different, the Davis Divan. Only 17 of these three-wheeled oddities were ever made between 1947 and 1949. This car is weird, rare, and absolutely fascinating. The Davis Divan had one front wheel and 2 rear wheels. It was powered by a Hercules 4-cylinder engine, producing 60 horsepower. The body was aluminum, and it could seat 4 people. The idea was to create an affordable, fuel-efficient car for post-war America. But the Davis Divan never took off. The company ran into financial and legal troubles, and production stopped after just 17 units. Gary Davis, the founder, was even convicted of fraud, though he maintained his innocence. Today, these cars are incredibly rare. Finding one is like finding a piece of automotive history that almost nobody remembers. The Petersen's Davis Divan is a reminder that not every automotive experiment succeeds, but the failures are often just as interesting as the successes. Number 1. 1936 Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic. Here it is, the rarest, most valuable, and most beautiful car ever displayed at the Petersen Automotive Museum. The 1936 Bugatti Type 57S C Atlantic. Only 4 were ever built. Only 3 survive today. This car is often called the Mona Lisa of the automotive world. It's priceless. If one came up for sale today, it would likely sell for over $100 million. The Atlantic's design is unlike anything else. The body is hand-formed aluminum with a riveted spine running down the center. The curves, the proportions, the sheer elegance of this car are unmatched. The Petersen's example, chassis number 57374, is co-owned with the McLaren Automotive Museum. It's one of the most significant cars in existence. Under the hood sits a supercharged 3.3-liter inline 8, producing around 200 horsepower. In 1936, this was a rocket ship. The Atlantic was designed by Gian Bugatti, Ettore Bugatti's son, and it represents the pinnacle of pre-war automotive design. It's art on wheels, a sculpture that happens to have an engine. Seeing one in person is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This is the car that defines automotive royalty. This is the car that collectors dream about. This is the Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic. There you have it. The 10 rarest cars to ever grace the Petersen Automotive Museum floor. From Italian racing legends to American innovations to the most valuable car in the world, the Petersen has it all. If you love this countdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world's most incredible machines. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.